The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. So welcome to the final day of the week here from the offices of Duke & Duke, 100 South Broad Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. However, we are traveling today to San Luis Obispo, California for my grandson's graduation from Slowtown High, and he's going to be going on to college. We started putting money for, well, I started putting money away for him. Dave was born August the 14th of 2001, and it was, 2000 when the Euro came out, and he can go. He's been accepted. He was third in his class out of 500, and he's just really a great kid. Got a black belt in karate already at the age of almost 18, which is unusual. He teaches karate, he teaches electric guitar, and he helps poor kids here. Not many poor kids here in Slowtown, but there are some. And he does help some of those kids. I'm very, very happy for my daughter, what she did a great job with him and everything. But anyway, so this, if you ever get to California, folks, this is probably, no, not probably, this is probably the nicest place I've ever lived in my life. I don't know why, I remember why I left here, but it was a long story. But it was, I'm happy wherever I am. But that's really an incredible place. It's just absolutely. I know many of you folks have been to visit me out here in Pismo Beach to the trading room, and wow, that's 30 years, 27 years ago. Hard to believe. But last night I had dinner with Twentyman at our favorite steak restaurant, and much to my chagrin, the owners had sold it last year. And believe it or not, this is the best restaurant that I had ever eaten in my whole life. I ate there so many times, and they've changed the menu, and it did destroyed the place. I mean, I was so, Jimmy and I were just really, really sad about it, but we had a great 2.5 hours laughing and joking, and it was, really a lot of fun. Two old guys reminiscing. Broker there named Rick Barnes. There was Roy Fowler, Rick Barnes, Jack Fletcher, Jim Twentyman. I think his name was Bill Harris. He was the broker for Mike Marcus and what's the other guy from Commodity Corporation? I can't think of his name. He's one of the biggest guys in the world for futures. Anyway, for Forex. Anyway, Barnes, what he wanted to do is he wanted to go trade beans on the floor of the exchange. So he borrowed some money from some folks, and he went back to Chicago, and he leased a seat at the Chicago Board of Trade. And for the first year and a half, he wasn't doing very well at all. He was on his last day. He was on margin call, and he had a lot of positions that were not working. And they were just getting ready to pull the plug on him. And he went into the bean pit, and he started bidding on July beans. He bought 1 million July beans with virtually no money in his account. And when he'd hit it at the right time, I guess, because the market exploded up, and that was the start of the 1972 Russian grain robbery thing. And he went from, debit balance to a, huge surplus, and then he ended up buying his own clearing firm, and his son is a trader out of Denver. He works for CQG, is one of their folks there. So that's how he got the nickname Bid a Million Barnes. And he was really a handsome guy. Guys, he was a movie star type guy, very quiet. But there's a lot of stories that we told. We'll try to bring him on. I'm going to have Jimmy on, but trying to get a yes and no answer out of him, if you don't know him, is like pulling teeth. If you know him, he's very talkative, but you get him on a show, he just sort of clams up. I'll try to get him to loosen up a little bit, but he sure got a lot of great information about the days of Don Mack and Jerry Baumering there at the Institute for Metaphysics and stuff that we had for all the, what was that financial place? I can't even remember the name. Boy, this is this is getting slower and slower. Anyway, let's move on. I want to talk just a little bit about the DAX and the FTSE. See that they've been in little minor downtrends recently, but the one that's in the news today is the market. You can see this is the July hogs that we're looking at for really good support. This is from the newsletter 24/7 that we send out over the weekend, and we had this really big move in the hogs, and it looks like we're heading up to about the 84 level in the hogs, but the bottom came in April. That happened to be one of Norm Winsky's spots for, a turn, and it certainly turned at that point. Whether it'll continue on from here or not, I'm not actually sure, but that's what it looks like, right now in the hog market. Looks pretty interesting. Now, another one that we talked about yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I want to bring this to your attention, if we can just find this little puppy. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Golly gee, I put these up and then I just, here it is. Yes, here we go. This was the British pound. We were talking about that British pound. This is an hourly chart to that 134. 34, the 61 retracement came in at 134.65. We're now trading 100 pips below that. That was pretty important because if you remember when we were looking at the British pound, over the week, a really strong probability of getting ready to rally. And that's one of the things that we've gotten in the euro, got that in just about everything. And this is the reason why, we've had some of these things. So look at the euro here, folks, and we're pulling down right now to another, what we think is a buy point. Made the big ABCD, but watch this 117 even is going to be very, very, very interesting because that's going to be an equal pullback. So that'd be another one that would be possibly, very, very interesting. I really, Mr. Z, I wish you could have eaten at Jocko's in the heyday because I've eaten at just every great steakhouse. I love steak, and I've eaten at all the great steakhouses in the world, Gene and Giorgetti's and Chicago and Peter Luger's in New York and so many other places. Don Shula's, but boy, nothing compared to that. I had a lot of students and friends that came there, and boy, we ate there all the time. Some of the funny stuff, that's neither here nor there. Okay, let's move on to a couple other things that we need to pay relatively attention to. I'd like to share with you something that one of the subscribers has done here in the November beans. Let me just bring this up to you and just show you what he did using some numbers that it might help. I don't know, but anyway, if you'll notice, what he did was he was watching for retracements, and what he was looking for. This was an hourly chart, but look at the 382 retracement that it got back here on the 7th of June, which was yesterday. And then what he did was he put his first position on when it broke below the 10.11, then he did another one below 10.06, and he did another one below $10, and it went down to 9.84, which was the exact 786 retracement of the whole move. And what he was doing was he was pushing the market down.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of the Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking about some of these markets that we're looking at today. I posted the chart of the British pound. That was one that we were expecting to have a pretty good rally from, and we did. We went right up to the 61% retracement, and then we started to back off. Now, this market has been very, very oversold, much like the euro had been oversold, and it had a tremendous rally. That was the whole theme of this last week's newsletter, to expect a rally in the euro, i.e. a drop in the U.S. dollar index because of the patterns that were there. We had a double top, of course, in the U.S. dollar index, and along with the free drive pattern, and we also had the euro making a really strong support level at that 115 level, and it held that relatively well. These patterns, of course, folks, they don't work all the time. You got to remember that this is just a small part of the trading. The real part of trading is after you place the trade. I mean, you have to manage it, and the way you manage it is to control your risk. It's not about how much money you make. It's how much money you're going to risk. I just remembered the other account that Bill Harris had. He had Mike Marcus, who had been at Commodity Corp, and he was running his silver operation through Conti. And then he also had Bruce Governor. Bruce was one of the first people, along with Ed Secoda. That was the third account that he had. And these guys are all market wizards, and they were all long the Deutschmark. That was how they made their huge fortunes. And the Deutschmark was trading around 25, I believe, back in 1971. And the only way you could trade Forex back in those days through a bank was to have $1 million account. Not many people had $1 million account, and that's how they made their fortune. And, of course, they've gone into, well, a lot of them are in obscurity right now. They like to be left alone, but the only one that of that group that even raises his head once in a while is Ed Secoda. And he lives, from what I heard, from last time I spoke to him, which was 5-6 years ago, he was living up in Lake Tahoe area. So I don't know if he's still there or not. Anyway, let's move on to some of these other markets that we're looking at. We've had a really strong rally here in the Dow Jones Industrial Average these last couple of days. The NASDAQ, we reversed yesterday for a little bit, as did the S&P, from levels that, are not uncommon, because we hit a beautiful ABCD pattern
in the Dow Jones Industrial Average on the actual index itself to the exact price. I mean, it was within, I think it was within just a few points. I believe I have that chart. Trying to find it, and I don't always find these things, but we'll take a quick look at it, and we'll see if we can find it. And right now, I would say the odds are less than zero that I'm going to be able to find it while we're talking here. But I try to find it during the break if I can to let you folks know that we're spot on that number in the Dow Jones. We went way above it, of course, in the NASDAQ and the NASDAQ composite, and that's due to the action in Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all of those, and Facebook. All of those are, going straight up. Now, Apple has had a monster three-drive pattern that has completed at the 193 level, and we're now trading $4 below that already. Now, whether it's an actual three-drive pattern, and it's just got so many ABCD patterns up there at that 191 level that I'd be really surprised. And I get surprised a lot, so I've watched that one very, very closely because we've been up for 8 weeks now without a serious correction in some of these things, especially some of these stocks. So it's going to be a very, very interesting move to what's going to happen. One of the questions that we're getting this morning is about the gold market. Folks, the gold, I think, is ready to go. It just can't get out of its own way yet. It's got a chance to get out of here. And the silver is acting beautifully, as is platinum, but the gold has not moved as of yet. We're now trading around 1303. That's up a little bit from the other day, up a little bit from last week. But, here we're up, about $7 for the week, and it's a Friday. That's really not much of a move. So a lot of things happening. Now, Bob Miner from Dynamic Trader has a special report out on gold. That's his big thing that he's watching right now for a big reversal in the gold market. He's looking for a major bottom coming in here, and we'll see if it's going to happen and turn the way that it's supposed to. But this is what he's looking at. He's looking at time and price, and he does some work with the advanced, what do they call that thing, ADX or something like that. That's one of those oscillators that he uses that when it turns, it gives him a little bit of an indication, just another factor that allows him to quantify the risk. But he's got a price target of around $1,500, and so we'll see. What is the date of the gold bottom, Peter? I'm trying to get that. Now, he doesn't tell us exactly. He just says it's in here somewhere. What he's waiting for is the confirmation, Peter, and the confirmation will be a move, I believe he said, above 1325. That's the same thing that I would like to see. We're starting to see it already in platinum and silver, but we're not seeing it in the gold market. Remember, the gold market is much bigger than both of those, so that's a thing that's really, I think, very, very important, to pay attention to. That's what I look at. And whether it goes or not, I don't know. It's just got a really nice pattern. It really does. It just hasn't started going up yet. When it does start to go up, that'll be the trigger that I would think this would be the one that I would think that you'd really want to be, following very, very closely, because it's an interesting pattern, and it's certainly spot on for, a move ready to the upside. It's just got a lot of things going. I don't know what's going to happen now. We'll see. But, that's markets, We don't know which ones are going to work and which ones don't. But, silver got to $17, I believe, yesterday. That's a pretty good move off of that low we had just the other day at $16.30. That's a $3,500 move. That's a $35 move in gold, and we didn't get a $35 move in gold, that's for sure. So it's starting to raise its head a little bit, and we'll see. The good thing is on this last pullback is that the platinum stopped right at the 382 retracement after making that bottom down there at 883, and that was a beautiful three-drive bottom. That was easy to stop. But some of these patterns work, some of them don't, so you've got to decide, when you're wrong. That's the whole key to looking at it. People, by the way, Steve, I want to give him a little kudos here to kudos to Steve Rhodes on his forecast a week ago that the NASDAQ was going to explode into new high ground. My hat's off to you, pal, because you were spot on that one. It did spike and it did explode, so you certainly looked very, very interesting. Also, I think it's very interesting that that Starbucks is raising the price of their coffee. Are you kidding me, Starbucks? Give me a break. Look at the prices. Look at this, folks. Look at the price of coffee. Where is it? Where are you? Coffee here. Let me just get this coffee chart up. And you tell me how they can... oh, no. Where is it? Coffee. Oh, here it is. Hold on just a second. Look at this coffee chart. How can they raise prices on coffee when it's, it's 40 cents lower than the low the low from last year, and yet they're raising the price of coffee? Boy, I guess it must be employee expenses related to retraining. I don't know what it would be, but anyway, it certainly looks like it's turning. You're right, Marshall. I think sugar has made a major bottom, and right now they don't care whether they lose enough of them, and then they start to care, and that's when it's usually too late. So we need to watch that. Well, I mentioned earlier that
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
I wanted to bring up the chart of Apple, the biggest, most widely held stock in the world. All I wanted to do is to show you on the far left, you'll notice in January on the 29th, or around the 17th of January when it topped, made a beautiful little butterfly pattern. It was relatively small, but at that time it was not that small, and then you see the volatility increased dramatically. But since that time, since that January 17th date, we have completed a perfect three-drive to a top pattern. This is textbook, folks, right out of page 249 in Gartley's book, Profits in the Stock Market. I mean, this is the Thunderbolt pattern, and it is a 1, 2, 3 pattern. You'll notice the expansions are pretty much right on. The main thing is that the ABCD measures to 193, and the stock, the high on that stock was 193 and change. And right now it's trading at 190.90, but this is a perfect pattern. Now, if you notice real closely here on the Apple, you'll notice during May and early June, end of May, early June, we had two large gaps. The first one was, I believe, related to earnings, but I could be wrong, and I'm wrong a lot. But those gaps will most probably be filled because you won't find hardly any unfilled gaps, on Microsoft. Now, someone's asked the question about the period during late April, if that was an island reversal when the first gap occurred, right around Memorial Day. And yes, that is, in fact, an island reversal because you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 10 days, and all of a sudden the market gaps above the high of the big day down. That is certainly an island reversal, and it does, trap some people. So, these patterns, when they happen, you have to be prepared for them if you're a technical analysis. But they don't happen often, but when they do, they're very important. If you'll just look to the left of that, on April the 17th, you'll notice that the 78% level, we had 2 days right at the 78% level, with the second day being a doji with an inside day closing right in the middle of the range, and the next day it gapped down. That also is an island reversal. Now, it only lasted for 9 days, but it went from 177 all the way down to 160. So, that is a considerable amount, especially if you're swing trading. If you're trading things for months or weeks or years, as some people do, then this is insignificant. But if you're doing it on a technical basis, especially if you're scalping, it can be very helpful looking at some of these patterns. But this is a three-drive to a top pattern, just pretty much spot on. Now, I believe we possibly made a double top in Boeing Airlines. That was yesterday. And it has a very interesting, I'm bringing these up because some people have asked me about these stocks, and we hardly ever cover these, in the den here. Most of the stuff we do, of course, is futures and Forex. But if you take a look here at this is a daily chart here for Boeing Airlines, you'll see that we did make a higher high. The old high was at 371, and the high that we had yesterday was 374. We're now trading at 369. There's a possibility of that being a double top. Now, how do I define whether it's going to be a double top or not? We have to take out last week's low, which is down $14 from where we are right now. That would be at 358. And if it did that, then you would be looking at a really double top pattern that would take the market possibly, making a double bottom down here at 311. You don't know where where it's going to go. That's the probability that we're looking at on some of these things, because you're not sure where they're going to go. Just remember 2 weeks ago when we were looking at the short side of corn and beans, because the weather, was really hot and, hottest weather since 1937 in Indiana, but we had three drive to a top pattern in corn. We had a quadruple top in soybeans and a triple three drive to a top pattern in wheat. Every pattern we had on the green said lower. And yet, all the fundamentalists, everybody said, oh, no, this thing's ready to explode to the upside. Now they're talking about massive surpluses. And, how does that change in 2 weeks? Give me a break. Judge is ruling. No. It doesn't change. It just means that people's perception of what is going on. I mean, this is just the first week in June, folks. These markets are going to see a lot of hot weather, dry weather, wet weather between now and when they're harvested in the fall. So there'll most probably be one or two scares along the way, and then there might be some tariff things that are thrown into the mix that might make some difference or not. But all of these things are related to patterns that we look at, and believe me, that's what they are. They are just patterns. They don't work all of the time, but they do work some of the time. And when they do, that's what you want to be watching, is the ones that work. The ones that don't work, just get out of them and find something else. That's my grandma said, if your girlfriend doesn't like you, here's a quarter, wait till the next bus comes along, there'll be somebody on that bus. and I still have a pocket full of quarters. I never use the darn thing. Anyway, we will keep a close eye on these grains, especially over the weekend. If you don't get the special report, I highly urge you to try to take it this week because we've got some big numbers coming up, and I've worked with Cy Monley very closely on this and also with Rich Anderson. We're trying to put a webinar together to trade the weather market if it starts. Now, it might not start, but if it does, we ought to be prepared for it. And that's one of the things that I hope that we can get done here, and I think you'll enjoy it because this is one of those few instances where you want to be buying on strength. And if it happens, see, none of this has happened. 2 weeks ago, everybody would be talking about this, but now that we've dropped 70 cents in soybeans over the last 2 weeks, nobody's interested. Well, now we're interested. Up the top when there was a topping made, now it's making what we think is a bottom. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but this is what you have to do. Chance favors the prepared mind, folks, so we want to try to prepare for this. I'm going to try to work this out with Tommy to see if we can do a little webinar. Only be about a half an hour, but give you some ideas of what we're going to be following very closely. I remember this because my daughters, I had to put them through school, and it was because of the soybeans that one was because of the crash of 87, but the other one was the soybean market of 88, which was a really big one. In fact, it's one of my favorite stories that Gene Siebenthal, he was a Iowa farmer, and I had a hotline. Larry Williams gave me his hotline set up because he wasn't using it, so I would do a daily hotline. And on that hotline, it was a Friday, and I said, if July beans closed at, 876, I said they're probably not going to trade for 3 or 4 days. They'll probably go limit up. It was similar to what we have in the November beans right now if they got about 1066. And they closed around, 584, whatever it was. It was up about 4 or 5 cents above that. And about 3 weeks later, I got a case of Don Perignon champagne. And it was from Gene, and I called him. I said, "What is this for?" He says, "Well, I did what you told me to do." I said, "What did I tell you to do?" He said, "You said to buy more beans, that they were going to go up, 4 or 5 days," and they did. I said, "Gene," I said, "they may go up." I never issued a buy signal on that. He said, "Well, I heard it as a buy signal." So anyway, it was really quite fun to do that. Boy, that was hard work doing it daily. Because we didn't have all this electronic stuff that you can do it from your car and all the other things that, we'll see what's going on. Okay. Let's, one other question someone's asked me about is when Norm Linsky will be on. I believe Norm's going to be on
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, folks, I've been asked to. Norm will be on the new moon. I believe that's the 13th. I believe he's due to be on. In fact, he's going to be on both days. He's going to come on for a little cameo appearance where he shows the key times that we've been looking at, that they've been working relatively well using astrology, and then he's going to follow it up the next day. So I believe he will be on the 13th. Now, I posted a chart for Amazon. If you'll notice that Amazon has had a huge move. It completed the big ABCD there. The ABCD measured to 1708, and the high in Amazon so far has been 1714. Whether that's a major high or not, it's still a little too early to tell, but at least it's following the patterns, much like we're seeing in Apple. And Facebook has made a double top for sure because it's backed off enough already. And then also we have Apple, and then we had Amazon and Boeing Airlines. And then the other one that I want to look at, which is one of my favorite stocks that I use every single day, that is Google. And as you see here in Google, this is about as symmetrical stock as you're ever going to find since January. Look at the perfect ABCD right on the bottom. I mean, that measured to the exact point, folks, down there at 980. And since that time, what we've done is we've completed an ABCD right to the high, which was the 78% level of point C. Now, the market measured to 1148.60, and the market got to 1145.20, so it missed it by about $3. Well, $3 in an $1,100 stock is certainly not very, very much. So remember that these things can move around quite a bit. So keep in mind that some of these patterns do fail. But we are seeing some topping patterns in these things, and especially these NASDAQ stocks. They've been the ones that have been, the ones that have been really going crazy, to the upside. So just remember that they're only patterns, folks. You have to focus on how much money you're going to risk. That's what you really want to be looking at. Because, all of your frustrations in life come from your unfulfilled expectations of what you think is going to happen, whether it's your family, whether it's your children, your spouse, your bank account, your trading, your physical appearance, whatever it is. It's all because of your, appearance of what's going on. By the way, I heard this morning on TV that Anthony Bourdain, the famous traveling chef, he passed away. He committed suicide at age 61, for heaven's sake. There must be some really underlying things here, much like with Kate Spade. Why I just don't understand it. But I can understand people. Well, never mind. Let's get off the soapbox, Larry, and talk a little bit more about these markets, because I think we're going to be, viewing what's going on now. We've had a request to talk a little bit about Stan Harley's work, because Stan had been doing things pretty much spot on. And I just wanted to show you what Stan was forecasting here, because it is totally different than what we're seeing. If you notice, he was looking for the market to come down into June 19th. Of course, it's not June 19th, we're only 10 days away. But that's going to be a very interesting if the market does back off there and does it move up into that July 6th. Now, July 6th, for those of you that are historians in the market, that, I believe July 5th was the low on the Dow Jones in 1932. I'll let Basil take care of that because I always get it wrong. I think it was either $40 a share on the Dow or 42. I'm not sure, but it was on July the 5th, and then I might even be wrong. It might even be the 8th. I thought it was the 5th, but I'm traveling, so I don't have my data here. But this is one of those times where these markets move very dramatically, and it's mainly this can be done with about 45 or 50 stocks, folks. It really can. So pay attention to it because you don't want to be clouded by what's going on in just a few stocks. I know in the news what you hear is what's happening with Amazon and Apple and all the ones that are going up. You don't hear about the ones that are going down, that have been hurt. Look at Minnesota mining, for heaven's sake. The stock has been smacked really hard. So there must be something going on there, maybe a change of management of some kind. That I don't know. One thing that someone's asked about the gold market. Folks, I don't know where that turning point is in gold. Nobody else does either. But when it does turn, the thing to look for is to look for a $20 move in gold in one day. Might even do it in 10 minutes, the way gold jumps around sometimes. But keep in mind that that's the thing that you want to look for. That would trigger that the market would finally be getting ready to, make a move to the upside. That's the real thing that we want to be watching. Oh, we've got a question here about the hot chocolate, about cocoa. Let's take a quick look here. We hardly ever talk about this one. This must be from someone down in South Africa. Let's take a look here. There we go. You'll notice here, I wanted to bring this to your attention because I pointed this out in the newsletter a couple weeks ago, the importance of the 618 and 78% levels. You'll notice how they broke through there very, very quickly. This was highly suggestive that the cocoa was going to break down to that level of around 2,200. We had 2,294 yesterday, and that's where we closed, and it looks like we're going to go down to 2,200, which is a 61% retracement off the low we made back in January. And if you ever want to remember January 8th, folks, you got to remember that day because Mr. Z was in the room, on the phone, on his little typewriter saying, buy cocoa at 18.45 and put a stop. I think he said 18.10, which is a $350 risk, and he sold that at 20. I think he sold it at 25 or 26, which was one heck of a move. It made a high of 29, but that was one heck of a move for a very, very small amount of risk, and it was really a terrific move. And these are the kind of things that you get at TFNN, not just from Mr. Z. There's some other really smart people in there, even of the from foreign countries like England, like Dudette does. She does a fabulous job of giving us great stuff. And then you've got other people that are in there and giving some stuff. And all the other shows, it's just really a great venue for learning and getting some really great information. So if you're interested in getting on the TFNN, just go to their website and you can try the den, and you'll have some folks there that trade a lot and give you some ideas of what's really going on in the market. So we're having a little bit bouncing back quite a bit from some of those lows that we've had. But the overall scenario for the market, to me, because we've had these runs of I think it's been 6 days in the Dow where let's just maybe even more than that. Let's just double check this really quick. How many days it's been? It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th day up. Oh, here's the Dow E-mini. Let's just get this up here. I had it right here. Hold on just a second. You can take a quick look at it, and you'll be seeing where we are. I believe it's right here. There's the September Dow E-mini, right near the 78% level that it hit yesterday at 52 to 25, 353, and we're trading at 25,197 right now, and we'll see what happens with that through the time that we've got going here. Almost to the last break. For heaven's sake, time goes so fast. Then it's off to deliver food for the graduation, and I got a lot of work to do with my daughter today. I tell you, I can't believe how how proud I am of what a fine job she did with this young man. Boy, he's just a really great kid. He can go anywhere he wants to go. He's going to go to the junior college here in town to find out what he really wants to do. He's leaning towards architecture. I just want to spend $45,000 to find out what I want to do.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I wanted to end the show here with the euro versus the U.S. dollar. Here's what it's been doing over the last 7 days. We made that 3 drive to a bottom down there at that really important support at 115. That was equivalent to the double top we had in the dollar index. There's also a 3 drive pattern in the dollar index. And now we've had a 300-pip rally. And what we're looking for now, as you can see here, there's a possibility of making a pullback down into this 117 level. That would equal the last retracement. Now, if this is still bullish, it's going to stop there and then go higher, much like we've been doing. Now, this has only been, a 4-day rally. Maybe it's going to be only that, or maybe it's a 5-day, 6-day, I don't know. But this is the first support level that we're going to be looking at. Anything below that 117 level would suggest the correction could be a little bit more. But we do believe that that dollar index is popped because it was up for 8 weeks, euro being down. And so we should get at least a 3-week counter trend rally, and that's what we're looking at right here. So pay attention to that. Also, pay close attention to those Treasury bonds, folks, because You know, we hit that 78% level on the way up. Yesterday we tested the 78% level of the previous day's high up at that 144 level. We hit 143.31. We're now trading about two-thirds of a handle down from that. So that's another one. We have higher interest rates coming. It doesn't make any difference about trade wars or anything else. Most of that short covering is over now. So we need to keep a really close eye on that one, because I think higher rates will be, you know, the order of the day as we move through here. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend, and make sure you send some white light out to the Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain family and all the others that have lost loved ones, because it's always tough. Anyway, live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!